Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 28. Enraged Elder Mo. Zhang Xuan isn't aware of the events that occurred in the Wang clan. After the lesson ended, he walks towards the compendium pavilion. My cultivation might have progressed significantly, but I still don't have an in-depth understanding of battle techniques and such. I should quickly look into them. Also, I should also take a look at the 1 Dan and 2 Dan cultivation techniques. Otherwise, if I were to go the lessons without knowing anything, I would definitely give myself away. Zhang Xuan's had multiple breakthroughs in his cultivation yesterday night, causing his strength has soared significantly. However, his knowledge on battle techniques and such are severely lacking. Furthermore, he doesn't have an in-depth knowledge of the 1 Dan and 2 Dan cultivation techniques. For example, when he was offering pointers to Zhao earlier today, he didn't know what kind of cultivation technique he should have imparted her to resolve the problem of her pure yin body. This is the ideal time to do a bit of research and prepare for the next lesson. Otherwise, if he is unable to answer the questions of his students, he would expose his ignorance. Elder Mo. Arriving at the compendium pavilion again, Elder Mo is still guarding the entrance to it. What are you here for? Yesterday, this fellow, in pursuit of his vanity, came here to make a mess, so Elder Mo had a bad impression of him. Seeing how he is here today again, he couldn't help but frown. I would like to see the manuals on battle techniques. Zhang Xuan bows. Battle techniques. One's cultivation level is the core of one's strength. Instead of training properly with your cultivation technique, you just had to learn from the negative examples of others, pursuing vanity, enjoying the pleasures of the illusion and slacking about. Today, you don't have to think about entering the compendium pavilion. Elder Mo waves his hand to chase him away. In his opinion, Zhang Xuan's purpose here isn't even to read the books. Rather, he is here to flip through them to remember a few distinguished points in them to put up a knowledgeable image. The greatest taboo in the guidance of one student is to impart incomplete knowledge. When your pail of knowledge is only half full, it is easy for one student's cultivation to go berserk through misguidance. Yesterday, Zhang Xuan was here twice and both times, he was only casually flipping through the manuals. Given his speed, he probably doesn't even remember the names of the book, needless to say remembering them. What else can his actions represent, other than his pursuit of vanity? The compendium pavilion is a location for teachers to research and study at. How can such a person be allowed entry? I pursue vanity and enjoy the pleasures of the illusion. Zhang Xuan blinks and confusion could be seen in his eyes. Why would he say such words? He couldn't resist asking, Elder Mo, I am really here to learn and not to create trouble. Da da da. Just as he is in the midst of clarifying the situation, footsteps could be heard from his back and an elegant voice sounds out. Elder Mo, I will be going in to grab a few books. Turning around to take a look, it is the goddess teacher he met yesterday, Shenbai Ru. At this current moment, Shenbai Ru is dressed in light purple. Her slender body accompanied by her incredible figure and her flawless face brought out an exquisite and refined aura which radiates her surroundings. Oh, it is Teacher Shen. Go on in. Seeing that it is her, Elder Mo doesn't even try to stop her in the least. Not only is Shenbai Ru beautiful, she is also a reputable genius among the teachers. Despite being just 20-year-old, she has already reached Fighter 5 Dan Pinnacle, just a step away from Pishui realm. Thank you, Elder Mo. She nods her head elegantly. Turning around, she notices Zhang Xuan, who is just standing by the side, and couldn't help but to be a little surprised. In the past, although Zhang Xuan had never confessed to her, he would blush upon catching sight of her and would be unable to speak in front of her, bashful like a lady. Even the densest of people could tell that something was amiss. Initially, she thought that this would be the case this time as well. However, he only takes a glance at her before turning around, the adoration he held for her in the past totally absent in those clear eyes of his that resemble the pure spring water, as though he is completely immune to her beauty. The most important point of all is that Zhang Xuan isn't strong, and he scored badly for his teacher qualification examination as well. As a result, he would always feel inferior upon seeing other teachers, causing him possess an unconfident disposition from his lack of self-esteem. However, at this moment, just by standing there, he looks dignified with the aura of an extraordinary person. Just by looking at his disposition itself, he is a completely different person from how he was in the past. Recalling the situation when they met yesterday, he even dared to refute Shang Bin straight on. Shen Bairu couldn't help but feel bewildered. When did that awkward young man who had an inferiority complex change so much? Elder Mo, I am also here to browse through the books. Why is she allowed to enter while I am denied entry? Zhang Xuan is oblivious to the thoughts of the other party and could only gesture helplessly. Despite being both teachers, he is discriminated even in the privilege to browse through books. What ill luck. Teacher Shen is entering the pavilion to study. As for what you are going in for, you should be more than aware of it. Do you still need me to point it out for you? Elder Mo harumphs coldly. There are only manuals inside, what else could I be doing inside? With a bitter smile, Zhang Xuan shakes his head. Of course I am entering the pavilion to read books and to enhance my knowledge. Enhance your knowledge. HMPH. Elder Mo is displeased. Flipping through books non-stop, not even stopping in the midst to read through them properly, and you call it studying. Every single cultivation technique inside is incomparably precious. You can't possibly expect to enhance your knowledge by leaps and bounds just by flipping through tons of books without even jotting down notes. How could you possibly study like this? Elder Mo. Just as he is about to continue explaining, Shen Bairu smiles faintly, her smile reminiscent of the blooming of a flower, as she says, Teacher Zhang might really be here to learn. So, why don't you just let him enter? If he were to be stopped here like this, it wouldn't leave a good impression on the other teachers. Since Teacher Shen pleaded on your account, I will allow you to enter. However, I will tell you in advance first. If you want to look through the books, look through them properly. If I see you wandering around in there and putting up a show, just wait and see how I will punish you. Elder Mo gestures. You have my gratitude. Zhang Xuan nods his head, then cups his hand towards Shen Bairu to show his appreciation for her help before walking into the compendium pavilion. Initially, Shen Bairu thought that since she helped him, he would make use of the opportunity to strike up a conversation with her. Yet, he simply turned around to leave, leaving Shen Bairu a little stunned. Although she is a little surprised, she didn't pay much heed to it and follows behind him into the compendium pavilion. It was just a casual whim of hers to help Zhang Xuan, there wasn't any special reason or intention behind her action. Since the other party didn't want to chat with her, she is also happy to be spared the conversation. To think that coming into the compendium pavilion would be so troublesome. The next time, I probably won't be able to enter anymore. Standing in front of the bookshelves, Zhang Xuan did not rush to flip through the books and instead, scratches his head. He didn't know why did Elder Mo stop him, but he is sure that it has something to do with his identity as the worst teacher in the academy. The identity is awkward no matter where he goes. Not just on the recruitment of students, even his colleagues despise him. The main reason why he is able to enter this time is thanks to Shen Bairu's words. However, what about the next time? This compendium pavilion isn't very big anyway. If I hurry up, I might be able to browse through it all within today. This way, I won't need to enter the next time. Suddenly, a thought flashes through his mind. Since Elder Mo is determined to stop him, he should just make it so that he would not need to come anymore in the future. Given the size of the library, there are hundreds of thousands of books in here. Even if one were to spend their entire lives here, they probably wouldn't be able to finish reading through them. However, he is different. No matter what kind of books it is, as long as he flips through it, he would be able to compile an identical book of it in the library of Heaven's Path with its flaws recorded in it. If he were to move quickly, it shouldn't be impossible for him to imprint all of these books into his head within a single day. Once he succeeds, he wouldn't need to go through so much trouble to come here to look for books. Begin. The moment the thought pops into his mind, Zhang Xuan doesn't dawdle any longer and immediately walks towards the first bookshelf. Not concerned with what books they are, he casually grabs a handful of them and voila, flips through them. Hoo. Just as he expected, the Library of Heaven's Path jolts and an identical book as the one in his hands appears on the bookshelf in it. That's the way to go. After realizing that it is possible to compile multiple books simultaneously, he walks forward and grabs several books at once and imprints them into his head concurrently. Hualala. The sound of footsteps and flipping of books echoes in the compendium pavilion. That fellow, He still dares to claim otherwise, that he isn't putting on a show in pursuit for vanity. Elder Mo, who is outside guarding the library, has been paying attention to Zhang Xuan from the moment he enters the library. The previous time, that fellow only flipped through a book at a time before putting it back. Although it is clear to see that he isn't really serious about it, at least it still looks acceptable. Now, he is taking dozens of books at once and playing with them, placing it back in the shelves before he could even see the titles clearly. What the heck is he doing? Is he here to read books or to choose cabbage? Furthermore, after looking at the manuals which the other party is looking through, he feels a spell of giddiness. Cultivation of wisteria, basics to the relationship of a male and female, the way of amalgamating yin and yang, refining green emerald pill, and the important aspects one should take note of in forging equipment. There are books on all kinds of fields. Cultivation technique, battle technique, cultivation of medical herbs, even on male-female relationship. As long as it is a book, there is nothing that this fellow would not flip through. Everyone has their own shortcomings and merits, and there are limits to a person's energy. It is impossible for one to master every single field. Thus, one has to choose properly on which book they should look through. However, this fellow flips through every single book without any hesitation. Is he sure that he isn't here to create trouble? He must be here to cause trouble. When he leaves, I will make sure to teach him a lesson. Elder Mo's face darkens as he harumphs coldly. If you find any errors, please let us know in the comments below so we can fix it as soon as possible. Also, like and subscribe to our channel to get notified of the latest chapter release.